2016 Sea Otter Classic. Wow, what an event. 26 years in the making, and here we are, and it's just a crescendo of a bunch of fun and a lot of people in competition. This event had over 350 journalists, international folks coming in and writing about it, and we think 600 or 800 product releases, but 600 amateur competitors and 125 pro team competitors that came in this year. Just phenomenal. And we had little kids and little BMX tracks that were trying out new products. So by far the most successful event. We want them to come back next year. We want more international visitors to come next year. We want to keep growing it. The economic impact's 10% more than last year. Last year was somewhere around 30 million. So we're guessing about $33 million in total economic impact. If you had a multiplier on that, that would mean another 15 to 20 million floating in the economy during the week, Monday through Sunday of the entire event. And that's people coming in, unpacking, setting up their vendor booths, going out and eating, trying some new things, maybe going out on some whale tours, and then coming back and working really hard.
In 1990, I retired from the Marine Corps as lieutenant colonel, and a friend and I, who I'd met in Rotary, decided to start an event management business together. Where it happened to be in a bike shop, Joslin's bike shop, and the bike owner said, well, you guys should put on a mountain bike race. And that was in late 1990, and in April we hosted the first event out at the Laguna Seca for mountain biking. It was called the Laguna Seca Challenge, and that first year we had 500 athletes and maybe 150 spectators, and that was the start of the Sea Otter Classic. We renamed it a couple years later to Sea Otter, and this past year we had over 70,000 people in attendance, and close to 450 exhibitors and visitors from around the world, so it has grown quite a bit in a quarter of a century.
This event's been actually a really big part of Monterey County for so many years that people look forward to it for quite a long time before it comes up, and they get excited and start to prep for it quite a bit ahead, and it just feels like a part of Monterey County.
Sea Otter's great. So this is 26th year. I did the very first one. It was called the Laguna Seca Challenge. It used to go up around just the hill here, probably like about 7 laps. So, ever since then I've been riding them. I probably missed about 5 of them altogether. Volunteered for 3 of them with the youth group. We did the feed zone. That was fun as well. So gave back to the community. It was fun.
Excellent.
Here I am out here, 57-year-old kid.
Well, what it was like to compete this year was very tough because I wasn't in the best biking shape. It was probably the hardest one I've done simply because I wasn't ready to do it. But the event I did was the cross country, category 3 as they call it. So you have professionals, category 1, category 2, category 3. Even though I've been biking for a long time, probably 45 years, I'm still only in category 3 because it provides the best avenue for amateurs. So my race was cross country, 15 miles, where the pros for cross country race 32 miles. And it's so great to have it at Fort Ord because you can have a mountain bike race 32 miles long and you don't have to do circles. It's just one big race course. You don't repeat anything, which is a real prize when you're racing. I started off in the middle and I ended in the middle. So I passed a lot of people. I had a few people pass me, and I ended roughly in the middle of the pack right where I started.
This is one of the largest biking events in Northern America, and in fact it might even be one of the largest ones in the world. A lot of the events are on the Bureau of Land Management's Fort Ord National Monument. So every year people come from all over the world to participate in all types of cycling events. And for months before the event, people will come out just to practice. And it's great because it's a wonderful time of year. So a lot of times we have the flowers blooming, the grass is green, and it's absolutely wonderful out here. So people really enjoy themselves. They come from all over the place, which means that they are coming to the local shops and restaurants and hotels, and everybody's having a wonderful time. So you provide the recreation and the scenery, and the people do come.
Most of the visitors, athletes and spectators and their families and friends, certainly come from California. Our largest demographic is up in the Bay Area. So we get a lot from San Francisco and Oakland and Sacramento and San Jose, of course. But it surprises me how many we also get from Southern California. Quite a few come up from Los Angeles, Santa Barbara area, and even San Diego. Most people spend about 3 days at Sea Otter, is what our surveys show. So they'll come up not just for the event, but they'll stay and make it a vacation here in Monterey. Go to the aquarium, down to Big Sur, Carmel, and so forth. We'll have about 500 pro racers, and certainly with them come some of the world top racers, professional riders, and they'll use Sea Otter either as a direct competitive race. We sanction with the international sanctioning body. So during an Olympic year like this, they can come to Sea Otter and earn points to try to get on their country's Olympic cycling team. We have a number of manufacturers teams, pro teams that come, both men and women teams that race Sea Otter. So we have a very large pro contingent, men and women, and then of course all the amateurs, thousands of amateur racers and riders.
We're here at Sea Otter for a couple of reasons. Number one, everyone that's part of our organization loves bicycles, so we're in bicycle heaven here. It's a wonderful event. I live in Capitola. We've been coming to Laguna Seca for years and years and years. So for us, this is just fun. One of the reasons that we're here is that we're in a booth. This is one of the vendors that we support. This company is called A2B. Kind of fits with our commuting philosophy. They're a German-designed e-bike owned by a company called Hero Echo. Their corporate offices are in the UK. And they're here, so we came to volunteer to assist them in meeting and greeting people who are in attendance at Sea Otter and giving them test rides on the e-bikes. We're also here because I have my accessories buyer here, and he's visiting all the booths looking for the latest and greatest accessories to offer to our customers. And that's why we're here.
Monterey is beautiful. I had never been to Monterey until I came to Sea Otter for the first time about 4 years ago, and I was amazed. It's incredible. It's beautiful. The people are friendly. The restaurants are wonderful. Just the environment out here is really terrific.
Yeah. I love Monterey personally. It's my first time ever been here. I live in an area like this, but in Israel, which is a very tiny place. And seeing such a huge amount of people over here, they're all active, all natural, all beautiful, always the right vibes. We love it. We will come here every year and we enjoy every moment that we're over here. We're surfing, we're getting the sun, we're getting cold, we're getting hot, we're helping people, we're traveling around. The scenery over here, the restaurants.
I like Mama's coffee.
The coffee. The restaurants, we love it here. We can take it. We're going to come here every year to the show and every other time.
There would not be a Sea Otter Classic if it wasn't for Monterey County, and in particular Monterey County Parks Department that have been huge supporters of ours right from the very beginning, in 1991 when we first did the event. So without the Board of Supervisors approving our recreation or use permit out at Laguna Seca, and without the county and all the departments within the county working with us to have a successful event, there wouldn't be a Sea Otter Classic. And then of course it goes beyond that, and that's the businesses, the hotels, the restaurants, the bike shops, and so forth. So it's we talk about the Sea Otter Classic. People come in from all over the world, and certainly all the states in the U.S. But this is, this is our event. I mean, it truly is a Monterey County event.
The nice thing about Sea Otter is it's grown now 26, 27 years to the largest mountain type cycling event, because they have mountain bike and road bikes. And we're able to educate people here. Talk about our local trails, how we do trail maintenance, trail etiquette. We're the local trail advocates here. We work with the Bureau of Land Management doing the trail maintenance and the local trail reroutes on the trails they determine that can be rerouted on the Fort Ord National Monument. We also work with other trail areas here, enhancing trails for all users, whether they be mountain bikers, hikers, trail runners, or equestrians.
What we like most, I think, about the Sea Otter Classic is the type of people that come here to recreate and compete. They're the kind of visitor that'll come back during the year to do a running marathon or a hiking adventure or a weekend relaxation or even a food and wine adventure. So this Sea Otter Classic rebuilds repeat visitors. So it's the best type of event you could have during the year.
We're here at Sea Otter Classic with the Cal State Monterey Bay Kinesiology Department, and we're running a lot of different testing on fitness variables and some psychological variables, trying to create a descriptive study of mountain bikers and road race bikers. Believe it or not, there's not that much out in the exercise science literature specific to bikers, so we're trying to start to develop the normative database for that. So what we've got here is a couple of our students, some of our best students with us today, running people through, any participant that wants to stop by, and giving them different testing. So we have a short survey that measures their motivations for exercise and a few other things related to why they would be a mountain biker or a road race biker. We've also got a strength test for their grip and their grip endurance, and that corresponds to overall body strength. We've got a body composition test, a simple scale that they stand on that can give us an idea and an accurate measurement of their body fat composition, body fat percentage, and weight. And then we've got a cycloergometer that measures their anaerobic threshold, their power, and their percent to fatigue index, which gives us a really good idea of basically how in shape they are, how strong they are, and how they can improve that with their training regimen.
Sea Otter Classic's great. I actually started my first race in Sea Otter was in 1993 when they were still actually doing rollerblade races, and it was still a really small event, and it was really, really neat. And now that I live here, I feel like coming home to it, and it's such a great event, and I feel blessed that it's in my backyard. And there's so many people here that are very generous and interested in local organizations, and it helps me get my message out to a lot more people, and to people in the industry and local people, and even people from New Hampshire like I met yesterday. And it's just, it's really nice to feel a part of the whole bike community in general and feel so well received in that.
What I've seen is a lot of growth the last few years, and our emphasis, business emphasis with the event that I have my people work on, really covers three areas. We want to get more kids to come out and embrace cycling. And whether it's a young child on just a balance bike, or a young grade schooler that is having fun riding around on the bumps and berms and so forth that we set up at Sea Otter, it's important for us to get the children involved. And as part of that, we have an outreach program that the Sea Otter Classic Foundation hosts, and we'll go to local middle schools and a few months ahead of the event, or a good month ahead of the event, and we'll talk about cycling safety and how to ride, how to wear a helmet, and get the kids enthusiastic about cycling. The other emphasis that we have is to get more women involved in cycling. Right now, as far as athletes go, we'll have 25–30% of our athletes are women. And we'd like to get that number up to about 40%. And that would be much closer and representative of our population and how many women can actually come out and ride a bike. So we have a number of programs and outreach that we do to get women involved in cycling, as do a lot of our sponsors. And the third thing that we really focus on is we have a pretty active veterans program where our vets and recovering vets are welcome to come out to Sea Otter and ride any event they would like for free, and to come out and use cycling as part of their recovery program.
You know, the future of the Sea Otter, I see, is a constantly evolving event where the sport continues to change. Road biking, mountain biking, electric bikes, tricks, downhills, they keep adding new events. And Sea Otter, which has been different than most biking events, they've evolved by taking in new events as they come along, because it keeps the interest of all those involved, and especially the younger riders, because they love something new. So I think I see that as the future of the Sea Otters, continuing to evolve with what everybody wants to do.
Probably our biggest growth and our largest growth, though, has been our expo. When we started a number of years ago, we had maybe one booth, one 10 by 10 booth out there, and it grew to 2, and we didn't really pay a whole lot of attention to how the expo was developing. That wasn't a focus for us. For a number of years now, though, it has become a very big focus, and we've grown to be the largest consumer cycling event in the world. And with 450 exhibitors, that represents probably 900 cycling brands and outdoor lifestyle brands that come and set up out at Laguna Seca every April. So that will continue to be a large focus for us. It's outdoor, it's recreational, it's healthy, and it's a family-oriented event, and that's the way we're going to keep it.
We're begging them to come back next year and to make it even bigger and even larger. So we're very excited about the turnout, the economic impact, and just how well this event went this year.